thought we'd try some layering. Here we have a hazel stool. You can see the cut stems. And that stick there is a stake driven in for the side of the Dorset gate. And this long stem I left right until the last minute. And then you can see I've pleached it a little bit like pleaching a hedging pleacher. So you cut away gently with the chainsaw so you get a nice pliable strip, so the thing will bend over without breaking this bark under here. So this bit here remains connected to the root system, and these are the bits I chopped out with the chainsaw, going bit by bit, gradually. I've got a fairly small saw with a small bar that I'll show you in a moment, and then you cut away until it slowly bends over, and you pick a stem which is small enough for you to guide down so it doesn't snap off. And then where it hits the deck, you screef away, and then you put in some uprights like this, drive them in so that the stem is on the ground, and you screef away just to the interface between the humic layer and the subsoil, and then you put the dirt back with any bluebells and bits and bobs that you've dug up, back it around. Sorry about the jerky camera work. So hopefully this will take root here, and in order to help that process, these two stakes here will keep it so it's stable, doesn't move around in the wind, so the roots are more likely to form. And you've damaged the bark underneath, so it's more likely to make callus tissue and then start to root. And then the top branches you bend up so they, in this case, sit in the dead hedge. If there's no dead hedge near, use a forked stick like that one there, drive it in so that it holds the branches above the level of the base of the stem where it's pleached. So these will continue to draw up nutrients and water from the root system. If you don't do that, it's likely to die and only to sprout from that far end. And you can see I've cut these gently and plonk them into the dead hedge. The reason we do this is basically to try and fill in gaps in the woodland. You can see a stool there, a stool there, a stool there, a couple of stools in behind there, and there's a gap here between this stool and the next one up the hill and this stool here. The alternative is to plant in, but the question is, do you know where your trees that you plant come from? Are they a local genotype, or do they come from somewhere up north, somewhere on the continent, or from somewhere way down in the West Country? We're in Dorset here, about in the middle of England. Do they come from the West Country and been taken over to, say, Poland, raised in a tree nursery where there are skilled people who will work for very little money, and then brought back over here along with any diseases? There are thoughts that ash dieback was brought into this country by that root. By doing this, by layering, you're effectively artificially cloning this tree. But a lot of these trees in here are clones anyway. They're descended from an original tree where they've been cut for generation after generation. The stalls got wider and wider, and eventually they break contact and turn into what looks like a separate tree. So you're just accelerating that. Reason why you want to improve density of the stalls is so that the regrowth is denser and of better quality for things like hedge laying. So, layering, and that's the saw. You can see it's a little Husqvarna 350 with a little 14-inch bar on it. It's not very wide, so it'll cut in a curve quite easily, and it's nice and sharp, so you get a nice cleanish cut. Let's come back in 3 years and see how this does.